So the mask issue is not, this is not a black or white issue, and it's not a judgment issue. It's not a you're a good person or a bad person issue. I'm not trying to stand here and act like I have all the answers or I know what's right. I don't know what I'm fucking doing. This is not what I do for a living. It just seems like common sense to me. I go outside and I'm around people that I don't know and I don't know where they've been. I wear a mask. I run into Costco. I run into the grocery store. I wear a mask. I come back in my car. I have a little thing of Purell. I put some on my hands and the steering wheel. I take my mask off. I go on with my day. I have people over all the time at my house, outside, around a campfire, around the table. I know these people. I know they're good people because they're in my inner circle. And I also know that on many occasions, I've had calls from people who say, friends who are like, oh, I was supposed to come today, but I got a call and so department at work tested positive and they recommend that we quarantine. I'm going to hang back. I appreciate that. But that's the kind of people I have in my life. I'm lucky. And they also, a lot of people know, I have an older father and I can't be around anybody who's in a high risk group, that wouldn't be right because then I wouldn't be able to see my dad. Again, just common sense. There's no rule. There's no law about that. So I'm at this bar last night and people aren't wearing masks, and it's not a judgment as to whether these people are good people or bad people. I mean, that's not the point. The point is, how do we figure and collect enough information to be able for things to improve? Because there's nobody at top who's giving us any instruction. So all we have is our own common sense. And it just makes sense to me that when I'm at a place and I don't know anybody there and there's drinking and then, the inhibitions get lost and the boundaries are kind of crossed and people are standing and they're talking this close because they can't hear because there's music in the background. Again, it's not right or wrong or good or bad. This isn't always a fucking battle. It's about the common sense of it. It's so frustrating to me. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Just trying to make things better. Trying to figure it out. That's all. So my comment about being at the Rose Garden for that nomination for the Supreme Court Justice, this Amy Coney Barrett, was just that the people in charge, who are the head health officials for the government, I think should be kind of setting an example. That's just my opinion. I think it's stupid for them not to, because why would anybody think wearing a mask was important if they're not doing it? That's the part that pisses me off, the hypocrisy. It doesn't matter to me what God you believe in, what God Amy Coney Barrett believes in. That doesn't matter to me. That's none of my business. What matters to me, do her actions match her words? And that's the part that the whole point of all my Trump ranting is about, is hypocrisy and your insides matching your outsides. It's easy to walk through the world and be a fraud and be a chameleon and kind of adapt to a situation and sort of figure out how people want to see you and then do that. It's called salesmanship. I did it for a good part of my life and I did well. But then there came a point where I had to decide what it was that was important to me and figure out how important it was for me to live that way consistently in spite of what other people thought. And actually, magically, when I started doing that, I started to feel genuine and authentic, and I got some real fucking self-esteem instead of walking around being what I thought everybody else wanted me to be. Now, maybe that's a reach and maybe nobody else can relate to that. I don't know, and I don't care. But what I know is that today I feel good about myself, and I know that when I'm going out in the world and I'm walking around, what's going on inside my head is coming out in my actions. And you may not like that, and that's okay too. Everybody's got that right. But I can tell you this, and I know that people believe this when they see me and when they hear me, because I'm consistent. I try, and it matters to me. It matters to me to do the right thing and to be a good person. So, I'm not saying, and let me say, I don't claim to be a saint. There's not even close. That's not the point. It's not the point to be perfect or to be the best or to, but the point is for me to be aware of it and to try. That's all. And so for me, the whole God issue is hilarious because it doesn't matter what God you believe in. If you're a shitty person and you're not doing decent things, it doesn't matter who you believe in. It doesn't matter who you're preaching to. I personally believe God doesn't give a shit about what you're saying to him. He cares about what you're doing when nobody else is watching. So when I'm at the grocery store and I take my cart and I put it back in the little receptacle in the parking lot because I don't want to ding somebody else's car, or I'm too lazy to, I don't want to push it back. Like, these are the little things that kind of show who I am when nobody else is watching. It's fucking simple to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I probably am crazy. But we could use more people who are trying to be better. That's all. The God thing, I don't think that matters. Nobody cares. If you're not treating people nice and you're not being right, and then here's the last thing. I know that you're not walking around genuinely feeling good about yourself. You're one of the people who's pointing the finger at everybody else, pointing out all their flaws. And you know what we call those people? We call them assholes. Low-hanging fruit people to criticize everybody else. That's so easy. So it goes back to that same thing that I was lucky enough to have my dad teach me, which is to try and be a good person, to tell the truth, and to, contribute to the solution and not be part of the problem. And that doesn't mean me just always pushing my personal agenda. So for now, it's a little contradictory because my ranting is about pushing my personal agenda, but my personal agenda really isn't for me. It's collectively for all of us, which is to get through this pandemic, to get things back to normal, and to not focus on the stuff that doesn't matter. End of rant.